Lesson 106 is about the equation of a line through 2 points, and in this lesson we'll be applying what we learned about the slope formula back in lesson 98, as well as what we know about the equation of a line to find equations of a line given just 2 points. Now remember, the equation of a line, the standard form for that is y equals mx plus b. And b, that's considered the y-intercept. That is the place where the line crosses the y-axis. Then m, that's the slope. I like to think of it as delta y over delta x. Remember that delta symbol stands for change in. Think of it like a fraction. Change in y over change in x. So when you're finding the slope for a line, you're finding the rate that it changes. How much does it change in the y direction compared to the x direction? And that tells you basically how steep it is, and also if it is a positive slope or a negative slope. So let's combine what we know about the equation of a line as well as the slope formula to solve for the equation of a line if we're just given 2 points. Like in practice problem A, if we were given those 2 points, we should be able to solve and find the equation of a line that passes through those 2 points, because that's all we need to define a line is 2 points, right? So first, let's write down our standard form. Y equals m times x plus b. And what we need to do is 2 things. We need to find the slope and the y-intercept, and then we're done. The slope, we know how to do that using the slope formula. So we just say m is equal to y2 minus y1, and I'll just always use the value or the points on the right as my 2's and the points to the left as the 1's. So y2 minus y1 would be 5 minus 1. x2 minus x1 would be 3 minus 2. And so that is going to be equal to 4 over 1. And so the slope is just 4. And so I have half of my equation of done. Y equals 4x plus b. Now we need to figure out b. And how are we going to do that? We have 3 unknowns there, y, x, and b, in just one equation. Well, just think about it. You have 2 xy values though, right? You have 2, 1 and 3, 5. Those both lie on the line. So if you substitute either one of those into that equation that you have right now, you'll be able to solve for the slope. It does not matter which one you pick. So let's go ahead and do that. Y is equal to 4x plus b, and let's use the first ordered pair there, 2, 1. So in that ordered pair, y equals 1. And we put that here, equals 4 times 2, which would be 8, plus b. Subtract 8 from both sides, and b equals negative 7. So now we can write our equation. Y is equal to 4x minus 7. That's the equation for that line. It passes through those 2 points. It would intercept the y-axis at negative 7, and it would have a slope of 4. Now one thing you need to be real careful of when you're substituting your xy pair in to solve for the y-intercept is that you do substitute x in where x goes and y in where y goes. Now in our equation, y is first, but in the ordered pair, x is first. And a lot of times people will just go x down to the y and then y over to the x because they're in the same order. But you've got to remember though that x is first in the ordered pair, y is first in the equation. Make sure you substitute y into its appropriate place and x into its appropriate place. Don't do it like that. Don't just go in order because one's first and the other second. You have to be thinking about what you're doing to solve that correctly. Let's do another one. Find the equation for the line that passes through those 2 points. Anytime I'm trying to find the equation of a line, I like to write down the standard form first. That just gives me a tool and helps me think about what I need to do next. So I've got that. Let's go ahead and figure out the slope first, and that's usually what you do on these two. You can't really do anything else but figure out the slope first. Figure out the slope first, and then the y-intercept. So our slope, we use our slope formula. M is equal to the change in the y values. That would be 5 minus 2 over the change in the x values, -1 minus 4. And so that equals 3 over -5, or just a -3/5. So put that into your equation. Y equals -3/5 times x plus b. Now, let's go ahead and solve for the y-intercept. And we do that by substituting either of those points in for x and y. We can substitute the first pair or the second pair. It doesn't matter which one we do. I'm going to substitute the second pair in, and so I'll have 5 for y, not -1. Y is 5, right? So I say 5 is equal to minus 3/5 times -1 plus b. Okay, and so then we have 5 is equal to 3/5 plus b. And then we get the -3/5, or add a -3/5 to both sides, and we'd end up with 5 minus 3/5 is equal to b. We need to get a common denominator here, so we multiply above and below by 5, and we'd end up with 25 over 5 minus 3 over 5 is 22 over 5. And so our equation is y equals -3/5 times x plus 22 over 5. And so when we're given 2 points, we can find the equation of a line if first we solve for the slope by doing change in y over change in x, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, figure out that slope, then substitute back into the formula. Now that you have your slope, substitute either of the 2 points into the formula and solve for the y-intercept. And you don't have to change the y-intercept to a mixed number. You can leave it as an improper fraction. Let's go ahead and do one more. Find the line that passes through those 2 points. So anytime we're trying to find a line, let's write down the standard form first. That just helps us think about what to do next. First, we get our slope. M is equal to the change in y, so that would be 3 minus a -3. So that's 3 plus 3 is 6 over 2 minus a -1, or 2 plus 1 is 3. So M equals 6 over 3, or 2. And so we'll say y equals 2x plus b. Now we pick either of those 2 points to substitute in and solve for b. And let's just take the second pair because it's easier to work with positive numbers than negative. Y is 3 equals 2 times x, which is 2, plus b. So 3 equals 4 plus b. If we added a -4 to both sides, we'd have -1 equals b. And so our equation is y equals 2x minus 1. So there's the answer. Write down your standard form, calculate your slope, substitute it into the standard form, then put a point in either one to solve for b, and then you have your equation of the line. Okay, well that's all for lesson 106.